Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at some incredible battles in the Ultra League Premier Cup Classic Edition featuring a triple regional theme team. Now these battles were submitted by a member of the community, Cheesy OG, so many thanks for the battle submission. And on the triple regional theme team in the lead, he does have Zangoose, he has Sock with Focus Blast as the safe switch, and as the closer, the MVP of the team, Close Combat HERACROSS. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and let's take a look at how the triple regional theme team does in action. Hopping into the first match, terrible lead Zangoose into Escavalier, going to save switch into the Sock and hard punished by a Shadow Crobat. So things are not looking great, but the good news is Sock was able to bait out their flyer, so that way HERACROSS will not have to come up against the Crobat. Poison Fang almost takes out Sock. Sock is incredibly glassy, and now going to bring in the Zangoose. Zangoose can tank a Poison Fang here, but it will do a ton of damage. Both Zangoose and Sock are pretty glassy. Zangoose able to hit back hard with the Night Slash, and after some Shadow Claws, able to farm down. They bring in the HERACROSS, and the opponent has no answer to HERACROSS. They blind switch in a Goon. HERACROSS will be able to farm all the way down, and HERACROSS also walls Escavalier with its typical moveset. And the opponent, realizing they have no response to HERACROSS, resigns the match. Hopping into the next match, okay, we have a Charmer on the lead, and this is honestly bad for the whole team, as unfortunately, none of the three teammates have great matchups against Sylveon. Going for the Night Slash, going to be able to do some decent damage, and now going to be going for the harder hitting Close Combat. Both are resisted, but the Close Combat is able to get them lower, which is nice. And now going to bring in Sock. Sock will have to respect the Psyshock here. We'll shield it up and will hopefully just be able to Poison Jab down. So Sock at low health, in comes a Shadow Swampert, and now Sock is going to be firing off a Body Slam to hopefully get that shield. Able to get the shield and able to get to another Body Slam. And this will do big damage from Sock as that lands, almost doing half of Swampert's health. Swampert will be able to take out the Sock, and now it's all up to HERACROSS. In comes HERACROSS, these counters beginning to chunk the Shadow Swampert and opting to use the shield here. Shielding up the Hydro Cannon, farming as much as they can, just not able to farm down, and they will have to tank the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon does big damage, but it's Obstagoon in the back. There is life. HERACROSS has Close Combat. First Close Combat gets the shield, able to get to the second Close Combat. This will be taking out the Obstagoon. Then can HERACROSS counter down the Shadow Swampert? It can. HERACROSS outputting massive damage in the endgame, and that is a good game. Alright, hopping into the next match, we have Zangoose into Crobat. If you're going to see a Crobat on this team, you definitely want to see it here. Zangoose is the best equipped of any of the Pokemon, since at least it's not taking super effective from the air slashes. That Night Slash does do a solid chunk of damage. Unfortunately, Zangoose is so glassy that he actually is going to commit the shield on the Poison Fang, even though future Poison Fangs will do more. Just trying to do as much damage as possible. Able to get it low with that second Night Slash. And from here, you can probably just let this go. And then I would imagine Poison Jab down with Sock. In comes Sock, Sock able to Poison Jab down, and the Crobat is dead, which should hopefully be their best HERACROSS counter. They bring in a Shadow Machamp, and going to be able to go for these back-to-back Body Slams to apply a lot of pressure onto the Machamp. Able to get the shield. Unfortunately, that's CMP. Do you let this go and trust in HERACROSS? And he is going to trust in HERACROSS. HERACROSS comes in, and HERACROSS is doing big damage with the counters to Machamp. Shields up a potential Rock Slide, but the opponent baits with the Cross Chop, and they have a Snorlax in the back. There is life. HERACROSS going for the first Close Combat. That does get the shield, going for the second Close Combat. This will be doing massive super effective damage. Close Combat lands, back in comes the Machamp, and Machamp gets to a move. HERACROSS so close to sweeping, just not quite able to do so. My goodness. HERACROSS with Close Combat, outputting crazy damage. Hopping into the next match, terrible lead into a Toxicroak, save swapping into Sock. Sock going for the body slam. Toxicroak, even in Ultra League, pretty glassy, so body slam will hurt and able to force a shield. That is very nice. Honestly, the Toxicroak can probably just go, oh, they actually go for the Sludge Bomb. Quite surprising, and they switch in the Snorlax. Snorlax, unfortunately, able to get to a move, but Sock shielding up, potentially wanting to go for the Focus Blast here, but instead opting to go for the bait. Probably the smarter call, as the Snorlax does shield. Can Sock get to the Focus Blast? They just cannot, but they will be able to get off these body slams, which will be putting in some nice work. Going to bank a body slam and switches into HERACROSS. HERACROSS ahead on energy will be very deadly in the endgame. The opponent not knowing HERACROSS's typings like someone I know, and they unfortunately superpower the HERACROSS, and in comes the Lapras. Lapras may be expecting the Rock Blast, but not the close combat. Close combat absolutely vanquishing the Lapras. In comes the Toxicroak, another close combat. HERACROSS just on an absolute rampage, and they still have the body slam loaded on Sock as well. Charge move coming through. If this is a Sludge Bomb, this will be doing big damage. Able to hold on. It's a simultaneous KO, and that is a good game. All right, hopping into the next match. We have Zangoose into Kingdra. So this is a pretty tough matchup for Zangoose, going straight for the close combat. Close combat lands, and now going to bring in Sock. Sock over farming, and unfortunately the Kingdra does reach a move. I would guess it's the Outrage, but calls the Octazooka successfully. Huge call, building up, and unfortunately Electivire will get to the move first, opting to let the Ice Punch go, and they don't survive. That is absolutely tragic. In comes the Zangoose. Zangoose really has to try and get a shield advantage. HERACROSS with a shield advantage is absolutely deadly and able to get the shield from the Electivire. I think you just let this go. It's an Ice Punch, and now you trust in HERACROSS. HERACROSS should be able to farm down, and with shield advantage, they can afford to shield this up and get a big energy lead over whatever's in back, and it's a Magnezone. Oh no, HERACROSS is in prime position to sweep. They are going to be able to shield this up, and now going to start unloading close combats on the back line. First close combat, does get the shield, going for the second close combat. HERACROSS outputting so much damage. In comes the Kingdra, down goes the Kingdra, in comes the Electivire. HERACROSS, despite the defense debuff, farming everything down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, Snorlax lead. The opponent safe switches into a Gyarados, so should be able to get some nice chip damage with the Zangoose. And the good news is, oh, Zangoose gets the boost. That's huge. And I was going to say, good news is you'll have HERACROSS to deal with the Snorlax in the end game. And the Zangoose able to get to a Night Slash and can hopefully force a shield. Able to force the shield, and now going to save the Zangoose on 1 HP for a potential sack endgame and bring in Sock. Shielding up the Sock, wanting to preserve a bit of health, going for the aggressive farm down. If they bring in the Snorlax, then they potentially can get to the Focus Blast, but instead going to be going for the Body Slam, as unfortunately a Sylveon came in, and Sylveon is very rough for this backline. Going to be going for another Body Slam. The Body Slam Poison Jab combo able to put in work and get it pretty low, but HERACROSS has the tough task of countering down a Fairy type. Bringing in the HERACROSS, and an amazing catch onto the Zangoose, able to preserve the shield. What a play! Catching the Psyshock, in comes the Snorlax. HERACROSS getting low. HERACROSS will shield up, but will be able to get to the back-to-back close combats, which should be enough to take out the Shadow Snorlax. The question is, can they counter down the Charmer in the back? Close combat comes through, and they just can't. Such a close match. HERACROSS again almost able to clutch in the endgame. Hopping into the next match, and this is a tough Pokemon for the backline to see in Nidoqueen, so if you're going to see it anywhere, you probably want to see it here versus the Zangoose. Goes for the Night Slash and gets the boost. Zangoose can be incredibly deadly with the boost, and should hopefully be able to force some shields from the Nidoqueen. Going for a second Night Slash, able to force the shield, which is very nice. Now the question is, the Nidoqueen gets greedy, and they're able to get to another Night Slash that is massive. And they get another boost, and it's CMP. This is incredible. Huge mistake by the opponent with the lost CMP tie, and now going to bring in HERACROSS to get ahead on energy. Poison Fang, HERACROSS doesn't mind a Poison Fang, able to farm down, leave with loaded energy. In comes Milotic. Going to be going for the close combat. This will be doing big damage. Oh, that does half of Milotic's health. Switches in Sock, and the opponent brings in a Sirfetch'd. Now, going to be able to get off this Body Slam. Body Slam does big damage. Sirfetch'd is extremely glassy. Sirfetch'd will be throwing, and I think you can just let this go. It's just a Leaf Blade. You can let that go. You're just going to bring back in HERACROSS. HERACROSS will have to respect the Night Slash since HERACROSS is getting low and able to farm down. And all they have to do now is get to another close combat. HERACROSS absolutely nuking again in the end game, and that is a good game. All right, hopping into the next match, we have Zangoose into Abomasnow. Does have two pretty good responses in the back, so could switch out if they want to. Instead, going to be farming up energy and committing a shield on the Zangoose. As Shadow Claw does generate energy very, very quickly, and going to be going for the close combat. Close combat, a very nice catch onto Sylveon, and unfortunately, again, that's something that this team does struggle with, is unfortunately, with two fighters and a normal type, having no charm resistance is rough. Sock almost able to get to another Body Slam, but now we'll bring back in the Zangoose, going for the Night Slash. The Sylveon shields up. Sylveon does decide to throw, and at this point, do you let it go and trust in HERACROSS? They're letting it go, trusting in HERACROSS. HERACROSS farms down. HERACROSS now has no ability to reset its debuffs. In comes Abomasnow, and Abomasnow will be throwing energy. Has to respect a Weather Ball, would be doing some pretty significant damage, farming up and over farming as much as they dare before they go for the close combat. Close combat will take them out. What is in the back? It is Empoleon, and Empoleon going to be vanquished with a close combat as well. Who knew? All you had to do was just give a shield to HERACROSS. Shield advantage or energy advantage. HERACROSS is crushing in the end game. Oh my goodness. Hopping into the next match. Amazing lead into Trevenant. They save switch into Swampert, and unfortunately does not have a fabulous response to a Swampert switch in. Tanks the Hydro Cannon barely, and now going to be firing back with the close combat. Close combat, able to get the shield, and now going to bring in Sock. And unfortunately, Sock doesn't take Hydro Cannons too well either. Hydro Cannon comes through, almost puts Sock at a quarter HP, but Sock will be able to hit back with the Body Slam, which should do some solid damage, but more importantly, able to get that second shield. As we've seen, when shields are down, it can get rough for the opponent. They switch in a Machamp, and Sock will be able to get off this Body Slam. That does a solid chunk of damage, and now, is it HERACROSS time? It is. In comes the HERACROSS. HERACROSS going to farm down the Machamp. Now, the question is, what are they bringing in? They're bringing in Trevenant, switching into the Zangoose. Zangoose will actually be shielding up the Seed Bomb and able to get to the Night Slash. This will be doing some pretty significant damage to the Trevenant. That does get it low. They're going to have a tough time trying to Shadow Claw down. They're unable to do so, and they're forced to throw on the Zangoose. And now this is farm down range for HERACROSS. They switch out back into a Swampert, and this is going to be some big damage from HERACROSS. HERACROSS farming down Trevenant as well, and that is a good game. All right, hopping into the next match, we have Zangoose into Dragonite. This is a pretty rough matchup for the whole team. As you can see, the fast moves from Dragonite absolutely chunking Zangoose. That is rough. Zangoose forced to commit a shield, but will be able to fire back with some Night Slashes. And even though they're non-stab, they still do a solid chunk because Dragonite is pretty glassy. Going for another Night Slash and actually able to take it out. They bring in Escavalier and now going to bring in HERACROSS. Most Escavaliers aren't running Aerial Ace, so you can probably safely no-shield that. It is the Mega Horn, which does hurt, but able to survive it. And now HERACROSS going to be going for the close combat. Close combat, takes out the Escavalier, and the question is, what is their third, or do they bring in the Dragonite? And they bring it in, and it is Magnezone. Oh my goodness. Going for the close combat, able to force the shield, and now it's all up to Sock to close out the match. So far, it's been a Heracross carry, but now Sock is going to have to do something. The opponent tries to catch and fails, just giving Sock extra farm, and now Sock going to be going for the body slam and able to get the shield. That is very nice. Unfortunately, the Magnezone is probably at 2 moves here. So going to be shielding up the Wild Charge. The switch, recognizing they were throwing back-to-back, absolutely massive play, catches the Wild Charge. Sock going for the Bad Manners Focus Blast with 4 times debuff defense. Body Slam probably would have KO'd, taking no chances, going for the Focus Blast, and that is a good game. Alright, Zangoose into Swampert. Not a terrible matchup as we've seen. Zangoose can barely tank 1 Hydro Cannon, but unfortunately it does get it very, very low. Hydro Cannon, oh my goodness. Zangoose so glassy, but firing back with the close combat. Close combat does get the shield, and now going to bring in Sock. Sock, as we've seen with Swampert leads, will probably tank this one, and now going to be going for the Body Slam. Body Slam will be doing a solid chunk of damage to the Swampert. This time the Swampert not willing to give up that second shield, but still having that shield advantage is very nice. A shield advantage is all Heracross has ever asked for. Brings in the Heracross, going for the farm down. Unfortunately, Swampert does reach a move, but Heracross going to commit the shield, wanting to preserve health if at all possible. In comes a Roserade, going to be going straight for the Mega Horn for the kill shot. Mega Horn lands, able to counter down, and Roserade not even able to get off a single fire type weather ball. What is in the back? It's Machamp, and Machamp does not want to see Heracross either, as Machamp is forced to go for Rock Slides if they want to hit for neutral damage. They go for the Rock Slide, that's shielded up. Heracross able to get to the back-to-back close combats, and these will be hitting hard on Machamp. The counters already have it below half health. Going to be going for the second close combat. That takes them out. They're going to bring in the Zangoose. Zangoose able to reach a Night Slash versus the Swampert. That takes out the Swampert, and that is a good game. So some absolutely incredible battles there. Close combat Heracross looks absolutely incredible as a closer. If you're able to bait out their best response to a fighting type, then if you can give it a shield advantage or energy advantage, Heracross was winning games that it had absolutely no business winning in the end game. What a cool theme team. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.